Well, I do see it's 5 o'clock and I want to honor all of our time together today. So I am going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, most of you seem like you're pros at this already, but we do have a big class today. So we do ask that you keep your microphone muted during our duration of time together, just to minimize any background noises. And again, we can focus our attention on our amazing chef. If you do have questions as we go along, please feel free to chat them into the chat box. I see a couple people, chatting in now. Glad that you're able to find that. If you can see, there's some arrows on the screen here to help to guide you if you're not sure how to chat. There's like a little bubble, chat word bubble. You can click on that and it should open up a separate panel that you can just type in, and everybody can see that so we can all join in the conversation. There's also a video icon, so I'm just going to pop on video here quick now and say hi. Hi, my name's Heather. I'll be doing introductions in just a minute, and then you'll have Allison and you have Chef all here with you today. So we usually just keep our videos off to save on the bandwidth so that we all can have a good connection, good experience today. So as we just had popped on, right, we'll take a moment to just introduce ourselves. So we do have Chef Alyssa. She's a personal chef with over 25 years of experience, and she combines good flavor with good nutrition, and we are so thrilled to have her here with us today, sharing all of her knowledge. And then we've got Allison. She's one of our wellness coaches on the Big Island, and she's there saying hi now. Hello, Allison. And then we've got myself. My name's Heather Charles, and I'm a wellness coach. I'm over on the island of Maui, and together we are here with you today, hoping to spark your interest and your curiosity to learn more about whole food plant-based eating, and while also increasing your confidence in being able to prepare meals like this. Did I forget anything, Allison? We're all got all good?
No, we're on it.
Okay,
I'm with you, Heather,
perfect.
completely.
Fantastic. Now, some of you may be asking yourself, okay, what's so special about this whole food plant-based diet? Why does it get its own class? Well, it's special because it's really the only diet shown to reverse coronary artery disease. Now, you guys, that's one of the leading causes of heart disease, and it's responsible for 1 in every 4 deaths over the age of 35. So that's a big deal. And while changing your eating style might seem a little daunting at first, I think it can be best summed up by these words you see on the screen here. These words are from Michael Pollan. He's an American author and journalist. He's written several books about food and health, and he coined this simple phrase for us to follow, which is eat food, not too much, mostly plants, right? How can we go wrong there? Eat food, not too much, mostly plants. And that's really what this class is all about, is bringing together plant-based nutrition and culinary skills to help each of you be more empowered in taking care of your health. Because let's face it, right? Most of us know vegetables are good for us. Maybe not so many of us are eating them. And I think a major barrier has been that most of us don't really see these foods as being delicious, right? They're mostly portrayed as being a chore to eat from our childhood, right? Eat your vegetables. So hopefully we're going to shift this mindset a little bit and open you up to a new way of experiencing food. Now, I also want to just take a brief moment and highlight some of the handouts that were included in the link for this class, specifically the healthy plate. Now, some of you may be familiar with the food pyramid that many of us grew up with, but in recent years, the diagram has changed to be called the healthy plate based on current research and health information. So you can see on the screen, the healthy plate's divided into these 3 different quadrants, and half of that plate is dedicated to vegetables, making the veggies the star of the plate. It's a little twist on what most of us grew up with. You're also going to notice on here that meat, quote unquote, is not included as one of the food groups. Instead, what it says is protein. And that can include plant-based proteins like beans, lentils, tofu, all of the ingredients that we're going to be focusing on in this class. But really the main takeaway from this is just to make your plate colorful, right, Allison? We just add a lot of color in there. If you have color on your plate, you know you're moving in the right direction. And
Exactly, you
ultimately,
guys. If
if
that's
you
your
want to
takeout,
learn, yeah,
oh,
that's your
sorry,
takeaway. That's
no,
it,
that's our
color.
takeaway. That's your only homework. When you guys look at your plate, if it's
Yeah.
colorful, you're doing something right. I'm with you.
Perfect, perfect. And if you want to learn more about the healthy plate specifically, we do have a separate class for Kaiser members called Get Your Plate in Shape, and that explores different variations on what a meal might look like in this type of a format. So we'll have more information on that class at the end today. We'll highlight some of that. But for now, right, we want to dive into what we're here to do today, which is some cooking. So in a moment, I'm going to pull up the two recipes that Chef is going to be preparing today, and that is the Korean tofu patty and pinto bean burgers, so she can briefly review the ingredients. Now, as a reminder, your invite to the class also included links to download these recipes for yourself. But if you have any questions or if you need the recipes again, we can pull them up at the end of the class. Then one more thing, after she reviews the recipes, we'd like to share with you a short video clip from a series that Stanford put together in 2016. And that series is called Food and Health. Amazing series of 17 videos. They're all short, maybe 3 to 5 minutes in length, and each one gives you really practical skills and information on why we want to change our eating and how we can change it with small steps. So after she goes over these recipes, we're going to play one of those videos today, and then we're going to encourage you to hopefully check out the rest of the series on your own. And in a moment, we'll be putting the link to the YouTube series so you can pull that up on your own. But first, again, I'm going to hand it over to Chef Alyssa so that she can review the ingredients. And anything else I
Exactly.
missed, Allison? And I'll
That's what
put
I was
that
just going to
video
say.
link in the chat.
Yeah,
Or
while you
maybe,
put that in for Chef, just so you know,
mhm,
she's just going to review the ingredients because she doesn't have to go through all the steps. You're going to get to see them live with her. And then at the end of our class, if you have questions about those directions, we just want to make sure you understood what the ingredients were. That fair enough for
absolutely.
you,
I think
Alyssa? Does
it's
that make sense to just go over that? Perfect.
perfect. All right. We'll hand it over to you then to go over. I got it up on the screen here. The Korean
Okay.
tofu patty first. Yeah.
Okay. So what we're going to start out with is fresh tofu, and we'll talk a little bit more about this. But I did press and drain it today. So this is a local tofu called nigari, and then we're going to saute it in a little bit of light oil. And today I have avocado oil. I have fresh chopped onion. I have red onion. So I'll put this in front of the bowl. And then I have some ginger and garlic that I minced up, and they're combined here. And then what I did was I took shoyu, honey, and sesame oil, and I combined them. So we're going to season the tofu mixture with this. And then I have white beans. And white beans is, we're going to mash it. We're going to use it as a binder. So these are called cannellini beans. And the cannellini beans, if you can't find them, you can also get something called Great Northern. They're nice and soft. You could also use navy beans, whatever you can find in the store. I have cilantro, green onion, chopped and ready to go to be added in. And then I have water chestnuts. So I chopped up some water chestnuts and salt and pepper. And what we're going to do is we're going to bind it with some panko. So I got the fine panko. I just wanted to show you the package, but you can just get any kind at the store. It's usually in the Asian section. And then we have a sauce, a dipping sauce. So, or you can pour it over the patties. And the sauce, again, is kind of similar. We've got shoyu, sesame oil, the toasted sesame oil. Rice vinegar is added in. Some sambal chili paste or fresh chili, green onion, and sesame seeds. And then I tend to make them kind of small, and so I've got like a little plate with lettuce and cucumbers. So I like to eat it that way, like the little sliders.
Perfect. Now, just
Okay,
so
perfect.
everyone
Yeah.
knows, I just want to also let everyone know, just in case, don't worry. I promise Chef's food and all of that will be in the center once we pull down our PowerPoint. So don't get nervous if you see it in the corner and you're thinking it's small. It'll be in the center once we go over our videos. And
Mhm.
also a reminder to people just coming in, if you don't mind muting or turning your video off, it helps with our bandwidth. So those are my two things before she goes to the next recipe.
Okay, so that was Korean style tofu patties. We'll jump quickly to the pinto bean burgers again, just to review the ingredients, and then she can go into more detail when she starts demonstrating.
Right. So the burgers, they've got kind of a little Mexican southwestern flair. We've got some onions in there. I've got red onions again. I chose red bell pepper today, and garlic, cumin, chili powder, and oregano. And then I drained and rinsed pinto beans, and we're going to mash them up. I've got some fresh cilantro again, some fresh lime juice. I have some hot sauce, black olives, cheese. And what's really fun in this is you take corn chips, tortilla chips, and you crumble it up so it adds a little bit of texture and flavor. And then we're going to mix that all together, saute the onions and bell peppers and garlic. And then we're going to roll it in panko. That's an option. You don't have to, but it just makes it a little crispy on the outside. So that's the second recipe.
All right, fantastic. So I hope that's getting everyone excited. That's a little teaser. What do you say, Heather? Should we go to our
All right.
video and kind of
Yeah, let me
say,
bring this PowerPoint down and you can
yeah,
switch over and we'll show that again, the video clip from the series that Stanford put together called Food and Health. The link to that series is also in the chat. So again, this is one of 17 videos and we hope you'll check out the rest of them. Let me pull this
okay.
down.
Now, just so you know, it might be a little quiet. I will try to make it as loud as possible and hopefully you can hear and see it. So Heather, you can let me know and I will make it bigger. And here we go.
Many people
Can you
who
hear
are
that?
concerned
All
about
right,
our
let's
modern
listen. Here we
food
go.
environment find themselves in search of simple rules. This is why so many fad diets gain a following even when there's very little science behind them. People want easy to follow dietary advice, but the human diet is inherently complex. Having said that, there are simple ways of wording sound dietary advice. Here's one of the best examples. Michael, you use a simple framework for delivering a lot of your advice on how to approach one's relationship with food, and what comes to mind is your kind of mantra: eat food, not too much, mostly plants.
Yeah. Well, coming up with those 7 words, which I'm afraid will be on my gravestone unless I come up with something better soon, is the result of a very long process of examining the science of nutrition. But as I got deeper and deeper and deeper, I realized, well, actually, the key issue is, are you eating real food, or what I like to call edible food-like substances, which is to say processed foods. And so the phrase eat food, I realized that's really what you need to know to eat well. Eat food, by which I mean real food. But then I realized that isn't quite enough because we're also eating too many calories. So not too much became part of the mantra. And then lastly, I was like, well, within the range of foods, is there a class that's better than another class? And one of the things we know is that people who eat lots of plant foods tend to have much better health and better longevity than people who eat a heavy meat diet. So mostly plants. Not all plants. Mostly is, I'm trying to be very reasonable, and although it tends to offend both vegetarians and carnivores when you say mostly plants. So eat food, not too much, mostly plants, is basically, I think, all you need to know. Now, eat food is probably the hardest part of that to understand, because isn't all that stuff in the supermarket food? Well, I would argue it's not, and I would argue a lot of it are relatively new, highly processed, edible food-like substances that really are what gets most people into trouble around eating. They tend to have lots of refined sugars, lots of refined fats, and very little fiber, very little of the antioxidants you find in plants. And basically, they were designed for long shelf life, these processed foods. And the way you make a food last longer is you take out what is nutritionally valuable. I'm talking about omega-3 fatty acids, I'm talking about fiber. All these things don't store well. So we've gone down a path of eating a lot of things that shouldn't be dignified with that beautiful word, food.
Replacing the highly processed food in our diets with reasonable amounts of real food, including plenty of plant-based foods, is sound advice for people who want to protect their health. And Pauline's mantra, eat food, not too much, mostly plants. These 7 words can be a helpful guide for anyone who wants to keep it simple when it comes to choosing food.
With MailChimp, you can design.
Thanks, Allison. What a powerful video. I love even that one phrase.
Right?
You want to have shelf stability, just take everything out of it that has nutrition in it, and it'll be very stable, right?
Exactly. Now I'm hoping, just before we hand it all over to Chef Alyssa, we got everyone should see in the center. You can always chat in. We have spotlighted for you her cooking area. If you happen to be on camera and you don't mind shutting your camera off, then we'll let Alyssa be on there. If anyone has any questions, please chat them in as she's cooking, because that's the whole reason we want you guys to feel a part of this, to learn something and be inspired. So with that, we're hoping everyone sees the everything in the center. Heather, you see that beautiful setup of Chef
Yep, I
Alyssa's
can
there?
see the beautiful setup. And like Allison said, I'll second that. We're here to answer your questions, to advocate for you. So be sure to, put your questions or comments into the chat, and we'll be monitoring that.
And then Chef, we can see you, but only kind of your apron and your beautiful smile. So you can either be on the camera that way or not. It's up to you. Just so you know, we're seeing a piece of you, but we got your whole setup. There you go. There you go. Great.
Okay.
Enjoy. It's all yours.
Okay, so we're going to start with the Korean style tofu patties, and we're going to crumble the tofu. Like I said, depending upon the tofu that you buy available in your store, it might be. I try and get firm tofu. It might be a little wetter. Each brand is different. So this one I did press, and I'm just going to crumble it into my bowl. So I put on some gloves. Makes it a little less messy and sanitary.
While you're doing that, how long did you let it drain?
Well, first I drained it and then I pressed it. So pretty much most of the day. I would say, it'd be good to do it at least an hour if you can. Again, it really depends. Once you start working with tofu on a regular basis, you kind of get to know what the needs are. This one is the Mrs. Chang's Nagari brand tofu. It's a local brand. I often use the house brand. That one's from the mainland, and they have several different firmnesses. I don't know if that's a word, firmnesses.
We'll take it.
Yeah, okay. So I've got that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this aside. And I have some of the white beans, and I'm going to mash them. I'm going to take off one glove. So you can either mash it with a fork. It depends on how soft the beans are. This is working pretty good. You can also, if you have like a potato masher, I've got this kind of style, kind of an old style. Can you see? I'm not sure. There, yeah. There's different shapes, right, of potato mashers. I don't even know if that's the right word. Is it called potato masher?
I think it is, Heather.
I think
Masher.
so too.
We'll call it a bean masher tonight. Could be
It's
your bean masher.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And that
So
becomes your binder then. That's kind of your binder then, the beans.
binder. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So instead
You
of
guys will notice there's no egg in here, right, to hold these patties together. So we're holding it together with some beans.
yeah. Okay. And also, this is kind of a, I've got this amount, right? So we've got 14 ounces of the tofu, and then I have the white beans are 1/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons. So really, it's also like how wet your tofu is. So we're just going to use that as a gauge. Once I've got those things done, I'm going to move this skillet onto the burner. And I've got a little bit of avocado oil in the skillet already, just for the sake of what we're doing.
Can they use other oils as well? Just
Yes.
curious. Mm-hmm.
Yes. You could use, I have actually unrefined light sesame oil. You can use that, which I don't think is probably common for most people to have in their house. Canola oil, anything light, safflower, sunflower oil, those would all work great. Uh, Olive oil might just kind of, because you've got all these nice Asian flavors, it probably kind of take away a little bit, unless it's a light one. So I've got my red onion that's chopped, so I'm going to add this to my skillet. Now, these induction burners tend to run hot, so it should heat up pretty quickly. So what we're going to do is heat this until it's translucent. And I do have a big pan here, and I could use a smaller pan, except this is the only pan that works on this induction burner. So bear with me, that it's kind of huge. They only take certain types of bottoms,
They do cook quickly, don't they? They're pretty amazing.
Yes, you really got to be on it. Burn things. Okay, and then, so that's going to saute until translucent, and then I chopped some garlic and ginger, and then I'm going to add that in, and I'm going to quickly add the sauce, because again, I don't want my garlic to burn. Because I've had a lot of good experience with burning garlic, and not the greatest flavor.
I think you're making us all feel better knowing that you've done it too. We've all probably burnt the garlic once in our life.
I've done every mistake you can ever imagine. It's humbling and amusing, and at the same time. Okay. So I'm going to add that in, and then I'm going to give it a good stir. Being mindful. And then I am going to add in my combination of shoyu. This is shoyu, honey, and sesame oil.
I can practically smell that through the screen.
I was just going to say that sound just gets us all salivating.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in my tofu. It's a good way to mix in the flavors. Also, maybe dry out any residual. Okay, I want to show you this. I didn't crumble all that tofu, so I'm going to, if you see any pieces that didn't get crumbled, you put in your potato masher. There you go. Okay. So, just do a quick season, stir, and then I'm going to put it back into the bowl. This one is really well drained, so I'm not too concerned. All right, so once I take this off, I'm going to turn it off. Sorry, these things are not mine. Okay, there we go. So give me a sec. I'll try and put it in the center for you.
I kind of like that you're cooking it or mixing it in the pan. That's like something I wouldn't have thought of, and then puts it all together. It's great.
I tend to do that when I've got, like, when I do a vegetarian lasagna, and I've got like a tofu ricotta, and I want to make sure that, hold on one sec, the tofu ricotta is dry.
That sounds good too. Tofu ricotta lasagna.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put this on top. Put that there. See if I can. And then I'm
Safety first.
Yeah. I'm going to add in the mashed beans. Okay, and then I'm going to, I don't know if I don't think it really matters the order, but it's saying green onion, cilantro, water chestnuts, chili paste, and panko. Ah, chili paste and panko. Okay. So green onions, cilantro, water chestnuts, chili paste, and then I want to give this a stir, and then I'll add the panko. If it's not too hot, you can get your hands in there. I'm not sure. But you really want to get all those ingredients to combine.
And it is amazing how much the beans really do. You go from the tofu that seems like it's not going to ever come together to really pulling it together.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that, sorry, that's the true goal here is we want to make sure that our patties are nice and bound together. Okay, so I'm going to get my hands in here and make sure it wasn't too hot just from being in the skillet, yeah. Okay.
And just as a tip, because this is one of my favorite recipes of hers to make, if you have leftover beans or water chestnuts, because you don't use the whole can, I have put them in the freezer and then I've got them ready for the next time that I make it.
That's a great tip. Thank you for sharing. So salt and pepper, and then I'll add the panko. So I've got a cup of panko. I'm going to start with a half, see how it goes.
And as you're doing that, I'm going to be on the other end of the spectrum. Don't be afraid, you guys, if you make this and they don't stick together at first. My first time making this, it fell apart and I was all nervous and I couldn't keep everyone's in my house's hands off the food. It was delicious. So this is one of my favorite recipes as well, because you took away my fear of tofu.
You can see it starting to become cohesive. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. Take that off. Get a cast iron skillet. That's the one thing that's good to know is that induction burners work with cast iron skillets. And I love my cast iron skillet. And these are going to heat up fast. So I want to just show you, you can bake them in the oven, or you can roll them in a little panko, additional panko, and you can pan fry them. So what I did was I used a little, like an ice cream scoop. I'm making them like a slider shape. I mean, excuse me, yeah, small shape. I'm going to just pat them in some panko on both sides. Put that in the skillet. It's not making noise, so I'm going to increase it to, let's see, it says 350. There we go, I hear noise. So you can see they're nice and firm. This is what you want to look for. Yeah, they're holding their shape. And then I'm just going to put it in the skillet. I'll just cook 3 of them.
And I think getting your hands in there and kind of mushing it all together is a good idea. I don't know that I've actually done that. It may be why they fall apart a little bit. So I think mushing them all together is key.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Chef, we had a quick question. Somebody's asking, would this mixture uncooked freeze well, or is it better to cook them all and then maybe freeze them?
Hold on. I think you had more experience with that too, right? I mean, I personally have cooked them all, and I have never frozen them. I have just cooked them and eaten them. So, but Is it Heather or Allison? One of you has.
Yeah, I cooked mine and then I froze some, and that worked well for me. I'll sometimes make a double batch, and then they're good to have in the freezer and warm up. But they smell good and they're easy to eat, so they're hard to keep around for very long. So, but I would
And it
say
is,
from my
yeah,
experience, I cook them then freeze them.
which is good, although it makes a lot. One of those, it's amazing what one little packet of tofu, how many it'll make.
Yeah, and I find what I do is I will cook them up as I want them. So this mixture will last, a good 4 days, 4 or 5 days in the fridge, and then you can just make them fresh as you want. So that's another way.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
So while this is cooking, I'm going to combine for the sauce ingredients. What I have here is I have a fourth a cup of shoyu, sesame oil, and rice vinegar all together in this little, what would you call that?
A little
Or-
carafe.
yeah, crap. And then I'm going to add in fresh chili. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just cutting a little bit of fresh chili. And I have some green onions and some sesame seeds. And this makes just a wonderful little sauce that you can pour over your patties.
And just a quick reminder, is that toasted sesame seeds you said in the beginning? Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for toasted sesame seeds. Yes. Okay, so I just turned this a couple times just because my heat is, it's a little low, but that's good. I don't want it to burn. Again, it's, just kind of a dance with the induction because it's not my normal mode of cooking with. But they're looking good. You just want them kind of brown and crispy. I do bake these as well. Baking is really nice if you don't want to deal with hot oil and all of that. I sometimes, well, when I bake them, especially like the next ones we're going to be making, you could put a little, use a basting brush and put a little bit of olive oil on both sides, as you're baking them. That's really nice.
Hey, I just want to Joy, who just joined in, just to let you know you're on video, just to give you a heads up, to give you your. And back to you, Chef.
Yeah.
I'm not a direct, that's why I'm a director.
Yeah. What I'm going to show you is the finished product. Basically, you're going to cook these on both sides until they're brown. This guy's a little fat.
What do you bake them at? Did you say that already? Do you bake at 350?
350,
Okay.
about 20 minutes. And then you can turn them too.
Okay.
Halfway if you want. I generally do. It can be 20, 25 minutes. Just kind of keep an eye on them. All right, and then so what I'm going to show you is the final product. So if I'm trying to think here logistics, right? If I take this off, we put the burner over. Okay, give me a second. That's warm. Okay, I'll be back.
All right, Heather, when she's just doing that really fast, you got to give a little tofu tip or tofu thought while she's getting started. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Well, one thing
Give
I
me
never
something.
really thought about, you guys, is just how tofu is made. It's actually made similar to that of cheese. If you think about cheese and how that comes from milk, it's just tofu is a block that comes out of soy milk. So that was kind of a interesting parallel for me. As Chef alluded to, there's also different types of tofu. So we've got, right, firm, extra firm, there's soft tofu. So some of those you can put into desserts or even blended in a smoothie. In that case, you usually don't need to press it to get the water out. And usually you're going to get more of the firm or the extra firm varieties if you're going to be doing any sort of, sauteing or baking or grilling of the tofu. And tofu really is bland. It just has not a lot of flavor on its own. So it's a perfect carrier for marinades, like this beautiful marinade that Chef just prepared, which is so tasty with those Asian sesame flavors. It's really good. And tofu is also low in calories, about 70 to 80% water, and it got lots of protein. So a good healthy choice if you're looking to swap out, the higher fat animal proteins with beans and tofu. How's that for tips, Allison?
I'm in. I'm in. All right. What do you think, Chef?
Uh,
You think she did you proud there? Heather added some to make it
uh,
look as beautiful as that plate.
that looks beautiful with extra veggies. She made half her plate vegetables. Notice that. See, just like
Oh,
the healthy plate version.
let's see if
Yeah.
I can get that from. Anyways, that's kind of the gist of if I clean things up. So I've got the tofu patties. They've been pan fried on both sides. I've got some lettuce, cucumbers, and then a little sauce. I like to kind of pour over it as I'm eating. I know that they're really good with rice too, brown rice, and have them as a main course. You can have them bigger, but this is just a serving suggestion.
Beautiful. And I see that color looking back at us. And I'm curious if anybody in
I
our audience, did anybody make these at home so far?
Yeah, look at what
Has
Porani
anybody
wrote. I
made
like
them?
that.
Yeah,
Did you
she
see what
said
she
she
wrote?
used, she said she used cooked beets instead of water chestnuts for color and for sweetness. So that's kind of cool. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, getting creative. Anybody else make this or have any questions about this recipe so you can feel confident preparing it in your own kitchen?
She's getting ready for our next one.
Yeah. And Rosemary, just so you know, we see you on video. Just want you to know, dear.
Thank you. I'll try not to do anything too bad.
No, I just like people to know.
Well, actually, as soon as I can figure out where I am, I will probably shut the video off.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
I
Okay,
see.
no
great.
worries. Take your
We do
time.
have a question for you, Chef. What would be a good substitute for panko, gluten-free? Any suggestions?
Oh, gluten free. There's gluten free breadcrumbs.
Yep,
So that's
there is.
what it's actually I've been thinking about because I'm gluten free too, and I'm like I like to eat these, but I do.
And I didn't use the panko. I think the first time it was still delicious. It didn't, but with the beans. So I mean, it on the outside, but I do like
Right.
panko.
You could also make it as like a casserole format, right? You could put it in like a 8x8 pan or a pie plate, and then just bake it all and then just scoop it out and eat it that way. That's another option. You don't want to do the breadcrumbs.
All right. So I hope that gets everyone motivated for our um, tofu burgers, and then we're going to do our next burgers. I'm going to just give you a time check, Chef. We've got about 20 more minutes.
Wow. Okay.
I know it goes by so fast.
I
The other
know.
interesting thing with tofu, you guys, is it's considered a complete protein. If you've heard about that, there's actually 20 amino acids in protein. 9 of those are essential, meaning the body can't make them. They have to come from food. So when you hear people talking about complete proteins, that's probably what they're referring to. But tofu and quinoa are both considered complete proteins, meaning they have all 9 of those essential amino acids for our body. So no worries about not getting enough protein or enough of those amino acids in this plate. We got it all covered.
Although it is very interesting, Chef, it looks like your screen, we've got your hand there and you're moving. It's like the magic. I don't know if her video is frozen or if she's still setting up the next round. We'll see.
It's not frozen for me, Allison.
Okay. Oh, it's just me. I just got the hand looking like it's ready to go. Good. Glad to hear it.
Let's see. Melanie is asking, are the breadcrumbs a binder in this case for those who are grain-free and not just gluten-free?
Oh, grain free and not and gluten free. Almond flour would be my next thought. Instead of breadcrumbs, is that the question?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. It seems like that
Sorry.
answered the question.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Just want to get my skillet ready.
Yeah, go ahead. I think these tofu burgers are a great way too. If you struggle with the texture of tofu, this can be a unique way to introduce it. Plus you got the crunch of the water chestnuts in there. Helps to break it up. Oh, thank you, Charlene, for that tip too. Mushrooms are a complete amino acid. Very good.
Okay, let's see. are we ready to rock and roll? I think I just need a mixing bowl. We're good.
All
Just
right,
want
now
to
we're going
make
to switch
sure,
from tofu to
yeah,
beans.
exactly. Want to make sure it's just me, that no one else is having my same issue. Everyone see the chef screen. You can raise your hands and practice. Everyone see the next one. Everyone good?
Hmm. Yep, it's
Just
still all clear on my
great.
side, but
It's so funny. I can see chef moving around. I just have heard the main screen is something different. Want to make sure there's no one like me. Where as long as everyone can
yeah.
see well, I'm happy.
Oh, John said it's frozen for him.
It
Interesting.
is. It's frozen for me too.
And for
Anyone else?
me,
Yes, it's frozen. So
me.
let me see if I unspotlight for a minute.
All right, well, while Allison is getting that pulled up here, well, hopefully that will unfreeze some people from that. We can talk a little bit about beans too. Beans are wonderful protein, got lots of, well, 14.5 grams of protein per 1 cup of beans, so powerful protein substitute, and 16 grams of fiber. So lots of fiber in there, and that's important in helping to control appetite, keeping our blood sugars stable. Just to give you a rough estimation, we want to aim for maybe 25 to 35 grams of fiber in a day. So getting 16 grams in a cup of beans is half of our distance to getting there, because most Americans get much less, maybe a third of the fiber that we should be getting. So it's a great way to add that in.
Alyssa, can you look at your screen for me for one moment and see if it is on? Because mine just shows the AM. Anyone else? I just want to make sure. I know
Yeah, I
Heather, you
don't
can
see
see the screen anymore. I want to make sure
yeah,
the camera is still on yours. Do you see it?
No, it's for some reason.
There
there it
you
is.
go.
It's on.
It's back. It's back. We're
Be like
done.
a
We got it.
screensaver came on or
We
something.
did it. That's perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Everyone can see, everyone in the center. I'm happy. Thumbs up, smiles. Here we go.
Yay. So this is a nice way to use pinto beans. Are we ready to? Do you want me to go?
Yes,
We're
go
ready.
for it. We're ready. You're back on screen for all of us.
Beans, you can use any kind of beans and make a burger. So this is just a nice way to showcase what you can do. And you can play with this idea from here. But this is one that I've made a long time and I really enjoy it. It's always fun to kind of have all different kinds of ethnicities and pull in different kinds of spices because spices just really enhance everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat oil this way. One, we're going to start with sauteing the onions and bell peppers, and then we'll add in the garlic and spices. So I'm going to turn on. I've already got my skillet cleaned out. I've got olive oil in here now, and I'm going to turn it on and put it on saute brown. Heat that up, and then I've got my red onions chopped. So Heather and Allison, maybe you can add in about the red onions have more. I know Dr. June had talked about that nutrition. Is it anthocyanins? Is that how you say?
Well, probably more antioxidants and stuff, just because it's purple, right?
Okay. Versus
Adds on. Yep. Yeah, it's when we talk about eating all the colors of the rainbow, it's sometimes hard to get the purple side in. So red onions, the purple cabbage, purple sweet potatoes, right? Those are some ways we can swap out.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got the red onions going. We've got some bell pepper. Add that in.
Wish I could chop like a chef. Look at how beautiful that is.
And then I'm going to add my garlic and the spices.
How long are spices good for in the cabinet?
You know, in Hawaii, I try not to fill. I'm one of those that likes to reuse the bottle. So I'll
Oh.
take a spice bottle and I'll go like to Down to Earth or Kukua, where they, you know, Whole Foods doesn't do it, but where you can buy the bulk spices and
Yeah.
because they do.
Well,
They,
cheaper that way too, because spices can be expensive.
yes, and then you know they dry out and they lose all their flavor. I do store some in the fridge too if I can. So I have like maybe a third of my spices in the fridge that tend to be more like dill and cayenne and paprika and cardamom,
Hmm.
sesame seeds, anything that has like oil that might go rancid. So here is my onion, chili powder, and oregano. Add that in.
Just going to put you on there too. I don't know if you guys prefer, so we could have her spotlighted so you could see two angles. If that gets people dizzy, just let me know and we can do it another way. Someone asked to see our chef not in the corner.
Okay. So I'm going to turn that off. See if I can do a repeat performance here. So turn that off. Put a hot pan. If I just take it off. So I usually saute it till I can start smelling the spices. That's kind of a good indicator, you know, that releases the flavors with the heat. I'm going to put my buffer on again. Put my bowl. Did you guys lose me? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some, that's okay. We have you in the center, but is it frozen for some people again, or everyone's good?
Because
Fine for me, but
Okay, good. Everyone, yeah, there we go. Maybe there
Frozen
we go.
for
Here
me.
it is.
oh,
Oh, uh-oh, we
it
went
just
sideways,
changed.
but that's all right. Huh, let me see. Hold on. Let me see. I'm gonna play my
That was
magic here.
weird.
Yeah, let me do it again. Hang on. Don't worry. Let's see what happens. All right. Oop, wrong one. We'll get this, you guys. I'm just trying to see if I can get her screen back the way I want it. And then we'll
Oh,
see. Huh,
it's weird
that's
how it just
interesting. It just
flipped.
changed directions. But that's okay, you guys. A different viewpoint.
Yep.
Different view.
sure you don't want me to turn it real quick and see if it'll do something.
You can if you want, you guys. I like seeing your beans. Let's see what happens. No, wrong way. Let's keep it the way it was. There we go. We'll just
That's
stay
good.
right there. It's just fine.
Okay. All right. Okay. So one thing that I've learned with pinto beans, some of them are firmer than others. So if it's not like really mashing well with a masher and I'm gonna actually not do it on a I'm just gonna do it on the table here so I can give it some more arm strength. You can pulse this in a food processor. You know, different brands cook their beans different firmnesses. Is that the right word? And, so I find that happens with chickpeas and pinto beans especially.
So right now you're just mashing the pinto beans in a bowl.
I am. I got it, and
Okay,
I'm
got it.
There they are. We can see them.
getting my hands in there too.
Yeah. I've noticed that too with the chickpeas. I buy certain brands that might be a little bit more expensive if I know I'm going to be mashing them versus ones that I'll, air fry or crisp up. It does make a difference.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah.
I haven't written down which ones are what. That's I'm like, which one?
You've gone a step further. More organized.
Okay, so then I'm going to add this in as well. The sauteed veggies and spices. Okay, put this in the kitchen. Coming back. Okay, and then we're going to add in the rest of the ingredients. So this is just making it really tasty. We've got cilantro, lime juice. I've got my cilantro. I've got fresh lime juice. I've got black olives. Oh, I guess I didn't put the garlic in when I sauteed it. Sorry, there's the garlic. Just make believe I sauteed it.
But see, that's nice. It doesn't matter in the order. You still have it. You got it. You put it in.
Fine, you know, chips and shredded. You can use vegan cheese or real cheese. Some hot sauce. You like hot sauce. And I'm going to mix this with my hands. And then we're going to add the panko and bind it again.
What kind of tortilla chips? Is it just like
Oh, gosh, I know.
corn chips?
Good. Yeah. I like, these ones are, what's it, late July?
Oh, yeah, those are my husband's favorite.
Yeah,
I swear he walks around all day with a bag of those chips. He loves them. The late July chips from Costco is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
I bought a small bag at Downtown.
Yeah.
Because, you know, yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's not good to have a big bag. Or, you know, if anyone ever shops, I like the Au Grand white corn chips. Really like those ones. So, you know, they're all different, right? Chips. So.
Okay. So also we had a question about using regular cheese versus vegan. Can you use vegan? And for the people whose screen is frozen, I'm going to try one more time. Anyone else? Everyone else see it okay?
Is it
I can see
frozen?
fine.
Okay, we just got someone else on there that's frozen. So just want to make sure we want everyone to enjoy. I'll put both on here. Let's see if we can get her both. And if I take her off, see if we can just make it a different angle again. No, that's so interesting that it changed directions. We got another view. I like it.
Another challenge.
Hey,
Yeah.
I love it. Hope it unfroze that for you. If you guys can
Okay.
see okay, perfect.
I'm going to take this off, and you can see it's nice and firm again, right? So we can go back and do the same thing. I'll put the skillet back on. I'll turn it on and get the heat going. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. And I'm going to use a little bit of avocado. You can use, sometimes I use, because of the heat, I'll do a combination of avocado and olive. But right now it's just easier. I'm just going to do avocado. And
well, that's good. Well, while you're making it, I don't know if this will be hard. I don't want you to burn yourself at all, but is it possible to move the induction burner toward your wooden skillet? Like, yeah, just over that way, just a little bit. Yeah, that way, right towards where your hand was going, just so we get it a little. There we go. Maybe that'll make it, people can see it a little more.
Okay. And then what
Thank
I did
you.
was a large scoop. So this is one size bigger. And this is more like a regular burger. And then you can pan fry it like this, or you can put a little bit of panko on it. Sorry, I've got some panko. Or you can just use this one that's in the bowl plate. There we go. Okay, it's smelling hot, so I just get that on there. And then we're just going to do the same thing. We're going to saute it a little bit on both sides. Sometimes I add a little bit of oil, just based on, because I try not to use too much oil. I don't like splattering. I don't like oil flying through the air and all of it. So I'm just going to add a little bit of oil, get it underneath. And you can see these make a really nice size for like a burger bun. Well, maybe you can't. Maybe the context is a little hard. But it's a good size for a burger bun. And this could make, at that size, that makes about 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. So again, it makes a goodly amount. Okay, I'm just going to try and, yeah. can see how warm it gets.
Yeah, that looks good. Yep.
Yeah. And what's nice about, these ones is if you eat it right away, the cheese is kind of melty, even the vegan cheese, and then you've got that, the chip still has a little bit of texture. I mean, it will get soft, but it's
lots of textures.
Yeah, you got a lot of nice flavor pops with this one, the black olives and the hot sauce and the lime juice and the cilantro.
You could use a lettuce bun too instead of a bun,
Yes.
right? I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to grill any of these like on a grill if you brought them to like a barbecue or something?
Yeah, I love barbecues, and I just haven't been around a grill in a long time. So I haven't tried it.
Okay, I'm going to give Chef that we have about 5 minutes left in class. I know we're going to want to show this beautiful burger and maybe our other one next to it too at the end.
Get a plate for you.
No rushing. It's just so pretty. But it would be nice if you still have your other one to have, since we now have the room in the screen over by the hot sauce, we could put the other burger there too. A good question. While you're coming back, could you use an air fryer? Have you ever done that, Chef?
I have not gotten into air frying yet. It's my new next adventure.
Yeah, I love my air fryer, so I would go for it. If you're wanting to minimize the oil at all, then either baking it or air frying would be an alternative way to go.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm assuming you could bake these too, right? Similar like the tofu patty?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I probably would, but just because of time and I wanted to show you.
That is fantastic. And, I want us to have a little bit of time to ask our chef questions before people have to go off of it. But it is beautiful. I'm going to kind of put chef on there too. So we see you can talk into the screen. I don't know if there's anything else we want to add. The thing I love about this is that you did all that in less than 30 minutes. You made 2 different meals. I just made you big. It's gorgeous. There's our chef and there's our
Yeah. Can you
so,
hold the patty up to
yeah.
the screen a little bit? The one you just made? Can you pull it up to up closer to the
Other
camera?
one. Yeah, there we go. Just so perfect. Can you guys see
there
that
we go.
well? Yeah. Do you ever use egg as a binder for your burgers or patties? That was a question asked to you.
I personally don't eat eggs, but I do like egg replacer. So I use flax eggs a lot, which gel up, and chia eggs, or just buying the egg replacer in a box, like Bob's Red Mill has one, and Energy egg replacer. Arrowhead Mills. There's another one too out there. That's nice.
Yep.
So that's what I tend to do for things like this. I mean, I use binders all the time for egg, like cookies, bananas. Again, like tofu can be a binder too. So there's a lot of different ways. It's not, and I don't really have anything against eggs. So I don't know if you could substitute an egg.
Exactly. Now I know we're at the end of our time, and Chef, you did an amazing job because everyone's hungry and wants to get eating. We really appreciate everyone being here, and I don't know if Heather, if we need to put back up the PowerPoint
I'll just
to end.
briefly touch on,
just end
what we
our,
have coming up, and I want to ask the group to chat in with us if this was helpful. You guys, are you feeling confident? Can you, go forth and cook these recipes on your own? That's what we're hoping. If not, we can stay on a few minutes after for people that have questions. But
Yes,
we do want to wrap this up here for those of you that do need to go or are wanting to eat. So let me.
I am wanting to eat tofu burgers.
Oh, sorry, I gotta cut through all my slides here again. We got the recipes here, we got the questions. So our next class, we are going to be doing this every month. So the 4th Monday of every month, we will be here offering different recipes. The next one is going to be April 25th. We'll be doing a soup and salad. So a sweet potato tatsoi salad with a butternut squash soup. Yummy. That one is really good too. Here's our class schedule. If you want a class flyer that goes over the recipes we'll be making each month, Allison can also put it in the chat there. You can call 432-2260 to register and reserve your spot. So a reminder, this is open to both members, Kaiser members and non-members. So open to the community. If you have friends or neighbors or loved ones that might want to join in, please invite them. If you want some support in making some healthy lifestyle changes and moving in this direction, you can also reach out to our wellness coaches, which Allison and I are two wellness coaches out of our team. We are here to help you set goals, to support you with accountability and keeping your transition to healthier eating moving forward. So you can reach out to there. You can also schedule an appointment on kp.org under the appointments tab. And lastly, we do have other classes we hope that you'll check out, including the Get Your Plate in Shape that I mentioned earlier. We have a wonderful Viva Veggies class taught by our registered dietitians that again goes into the how and why of eating and moving towards the plant-based spectrum of eating. So if you're interested in getting a flyer for this, again, you can call the 432-2260. Many of our classes you can also register directly on kp.org. And we hope to see you all with us again next time. So thank you, Chef, for an amazing, we packed a lot in.
I'll
I think we
say,
covered it all. Yep.
and also,
And we'll
yes,
be available for questions.
if you have to go, but we'll stay on for a few minutes. But yes, we did have a question. Do you have to sign up for each one? This is individual classes, but when you do call, you can ask to be signed up for for the rest of the year if you want. We just ask that you'll get the link to come to the class. Just let us know when you call in.
Great. And
So,
somebody asked, are there downloads to do before each class? The only download there would be, we have the handouts that I mentioned earlier of the healthy plate, and we have some plant-based resources. We also have the recipes for each class that will be in the link, the invitation link. So I'm not sure if that's what you mean by
well,
downloads.
I also think if you guys are wanting to enjoy, get the things
Mhm.
for the recipe. This class we used to cook alongside Chef while she was doing it. So
Yeah.
feel free. And then if you
Yep.
do cook with us, you can show your video and
Show
show
us
us
your
if you
plate.
made us
Yeah.
your dinner. So that would be the other download way. Get the ingredients, cook along with Chef.
Yep, can do that, or you can make it ahead of time and then ask her questions, or watch and then prepare, however you want to do it. This is about just getting you comfortable with it. So good. Any other questions? Great, glad you guys enjoyed it.
Yes, thank you, Chef Alyssa. We're always so happy to have you be part
Great.
of our Kaiser Permanente family over here. You've really inspired me because, that healthy plate, half of it, a lot of us, when we don't know what to do, we just put salad on there. And sometimes we just get overwhelmed, and you shared some
Yeah,
great ideas how to just make a few different flavors, and you just have
yep,
a great whole meal. So thank you so much for that.
absolutely. Yeah, we often just think salad, right? Veggie salad, and now we get all these other options available to us that are so flavorful and delicious. Well,
Yep,
great,
my
Nicole.
new
Glad
one's
you're
the
looking forward to
bean.
the next class.
Yep, gonna try the bean one. Haven't done that. That's new,
I know,
and
I
so
haven't
now
done
you've
that one
inspired.
either. I'm
Yeah, I
excited.
can't wait.
Mhm.
I don't have to think too hard about my meal plan this week because I'll already have these recipes.
Yeah, you see, you can tell that we don't we jump it to take this class. Heather and I were quick to say we'll do it because we just learn so much every time.
Yeah,
Really, you make it look easy, Chef, but you
Mhm.
you make recipes that are easy to follow for us. So thank you for
yeah.
that.
Oh,
Thank
and
you
Brenda
very
even
much.
said she cooked the Korean tofu recipe as you were teaching, and it was very delicious. So yay, glad
Love
Brenda that you
hearing
cooked
that.
along with us. Yeah, and anybody else is welcome to do that next time. We might just ask that you pop on camera though and show us then.
Haha, no pressure.
No
But I
pressure.
figure,
Yeah.
hey, Chef, you had to be on camera the whole time. So, once in a while, like we can go off and say thank you and goodbye. But now I feel like I'm just sitting in a room and I want to be in a kitchen. So,
Thank you guys for helping. Wonderful.
yes.
Yeah.
All right. We wish everyone good cooking and good health. And please, come call Kaiser, our health education department. We have so many great classes. Don't be scared of something that says Viva Veggies or plant-based doesn't mean you have to go plant-based all the way, but it just might inspire you to get more plant-based foods on your plate. Good for your health, good for all of us, good for the environment, and it sure is pretty. So we hope that you join us with some of the other classes. We have great dietitians as well who can give you more information specifically if you're changing over to more plant-based. Right.
Hey.
Chef, you got to go eat all that good food.
No, clean up.
Oh, that too. There's a
Right.
cleanup part, right? Uh,
Say
great.
good night to everyone.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And we're going to
Bye.
sign off. Yeah.
Bye. Bye, Alyssa. Have
Bye,
a good
Alyssa.
one.
Thank you.
Thanks
Have a
so
good
much.
evening.